Hi, I'm Zara from the Software Technology Lab of McGill University. In this video, I will present Casdoc, a solution to improve the way code examples are presented on the web. Although it's something programmers often have to do, learning to use a new API is not a straightforward process. For example, let's say that I want to learn how to connect to an SQL database using JDBC. I would start by searching how to connect to SQL database JDBC and finding this document that contains a code example as a proof of concept. Looking through the first code example, we see a few unfamiliar terms. For example, the format of connection URL string is particularly unclear. To understand the format, I would search driver manager get connection, hoping to get more information about its parameter. Once on the official Java documentation page of Driver Manager, I would click Ctrl F and search Get Connection and find the exact method used in the code example. In the description, we find a clear format for the connection URL string, which is JDBC subprotocol subname. However, I need to first have an understanding of what the terms subprotocol and subname are in order to understand this, which leads me to once again open a new window, turn to Google, and search JDBC URL subprotocol subname. I select the first tutorial link and skim through a couple of paragraphs to find definitions and examples, so that finally I can now understand the format of a connection URL. But clearly, the process of getting information about just one small element of the code example involves many steps, which can be a cumbersome and time-inefficient process. Now let's take a closer look at Casdoc and how it solves these issues. Casdoc is a new documentation format centered around code examples. This particular example showcases how to use JDBC. I can simply hover over the connection URL string to obtain a pop-up containing information about the URL format, which also provides more information on what each component, like subprotocol and subname, are. I can even hover over specific database names for detailed examples, or click here to get more information. With this format, I do not need to open a new window, search terms, and filter through results for adequate documentation. All we need to do is stay on the same page and hover to learn more. This pop-up was added by a documentation author who can append information about a code element by directly annotating the Java file. The contents of the currently open pop-up were annotated by this source code being shown on screen, which was written by the documentation author. Pop-ups annotated by a documentation author are indicated by a gray bracket or dotted blue underline. Within these pop-ups, there may also be other blue underlines representing more nested pop-ups, which can satisfy any new information needs I encounter. There are also pop-ups for each type and method in the Java Standard Library, which contain their official reference documentation, or JavaDoc. To avoid too many distracting markers, those pop-ups are not indicated by an underline, but I can hover over any type or method from the standard library to see a compact version, or click over them to see the full documentation. I can also follow the link to the JavaDoc page from which the information is extracted. Casdoc allows all of this information to be included in a single document, without drowning the reader in pages and pages of text. This way, readers don't have to leave the code example to search for supplemental information.